Vamos começar? Sim. Good evening, welcome everyone for this talk about the history of photography books at Atelier de Lisboa. This is quite a long history, so we will try to make it not so... If we had to speak about everything, we would stay here till tomorrow. So we will try to be synthetic. Welcome everyone, in particular who is for the first time at Atelier. Welcome everyone. And Miguel, thank you also for being here and to engage with me in this discussion that is always very interesting, speaking about what we are going to speak today. So the theme today is History of the Photobook at Atelier, an introduction. It's an introduction because if we would speak about the whole history, as I told, it would take a really long time, because in fact it started 18 years ago. Do you want me to start to explain a little bit the beginnings?
Yes, I think it's a good idea. Let me just add something to what you've said about hello everyone. Welcome to Atelier de Lisboa. There was supposed to be a storm right now, and we were supposed to thank you for coming here in the middle of the storm. But, well, it's not so much of a storm, luckily for all of us. We don't have that many books here because most books are somewhere around Atelier, and you're more than welcome to see them after this talk and to ask questions and to interact. So the idea is also, just to add to what Bruno was saying, the idea is for us to talk a little bit, to introduce the history of the photo book here at Atelier, but also that we can continue the discussion afterwards, looking at the books that are here as well. So Bruno, do you want to continue with the history?
Yes, the reason why we are here and we have all this history, it's because the photo book is somehow completely intertwined with the history of photography, since the first photo books are contemporary of the first photographs. So the book was from the start a form of making photography available and have a material form and to be able to circulate. So all photographers, I mean, all it's too much, but I guess all the ones I know, mostly all the ones I know, are very enthusiastic about making books. I mean, it's something that is unavoidable for someone who is doing photography seriously. To make a book is something that is inescapable. I guess I speak for myself. I remember the first time I saw a photography book. I was 18, and it struck me, and it was something that was incredible, because I had a piece of work from a photographer that I was very passionate about, Eugene Smith, and I had a piece of work of him. So to have a photography book is to have a piece of work from an artist or a photographer. Most of us cannot afford to buy photographs from exhibitions because it's very expensive. So photo books are a very amazing way of sharing the work and to make it available for a wider audience. And so at the beginning, when photography books started, it was really something difficult. It was not for everyone. It was only for those who were very famous or had very good connections and could raise the money or the funds to create a book, because it has to be made in large numbers, in offset. It was a very complicated process. So to make a photo book was something not available for everyone. Since the beginning of digital photography and all the digital processes that we use actually, that we use at the present time. So we have digital photography, we have post-production softwares, we have softwares that allow us to put photographies in pages, like InDesign, for instance. So, and we can print one single copy. So it's possible to make a book, and in a single copy. That is something that was impossible in the 20th century. I mean, not impossible, but to print a book, it would be like 300, 400, 500, and so. So only well-known photographers or museums or wealthy institutions could publish books. So that changed from the 20th century to the present. There was a real big change. So one thing that happened is that each one of us is able to create its own photo book. It's not something that is at the top of the Everest. You have to get there. No, it's really affordable, available, and it's possible. And so we started at Atelier. The Atelier started in 2006. I teach. I might make a really short presentation of myself. I am a photographer from since I was 17. I studied engineering, but photography was my obsession. And anything that would be in the way between me and photography was just atropelado.
Yeah, run over.
So everything that would be in the way of me doing photography would really be put away. So, but I was when I started Atelier in 2006. I made some, like a photographer. I made commercial photography, and I hated. And I tried different ways of earning money with photography, and I hated them all except teaching. Teaching photography was the only thing that really was interesting to me. So that was my priority, to teach photography and to do my own work in an absolutely independent way. And I was very keen, and I had a serious thought about teaching. I had this crazy idea of making a special school where the best students and the best teachers would meet, and something magical would happen. So the teaching process and the evolution of our students would be a high-speed evolution. And so I started in 2006, and 19 years, around 19 years past this, we are here now. And I'm really delighted to see so many people here interested in what we have to say. And so when I started Atelier in 2006, I was really far away from thinking that this would be possible, what's happening here, now. So there was incredible evolution in the last years. The process of making books has become easier and easier, and it's overwhelming the number of books that we can find in the market. And so today it's almost anyone who wants to make a book can make a book. So
there's this, it's interesting because we have here, this is the first book
of all
made. It's from Maria Lopes. Yeah, I always have this problem with names. Sorry. This is very interesting. It's a privilege to be here talking to you, but also because I've been around forever. I think I was your student back in 2002, something
Around
like this,
that.
at Arco, yes. And I joined Atelier not in 2006, but 2 or 3 years later. It's good to see Marta here. And Maria, it's interesting. I'm saying this because Maria is also still around. She's not here today, but unfortunately, but it's interesting when we look at the books we get reminded of the people that were here and that are now doing things around the city, and this is always very interesting to see. So this is the first book, and it was made here at Atelier, but this was not yet the photo book course as we know it today. So there were some versions of the book of this course and of this structure before. Do you want to talk a little bit about this?
Yes.
Also,
Yes.
sorry, Bruno. Also, because there was well, the photo book is a recent, not a new, but a recent phenomenon, so this was made, I think, with José Pedro Cortes,
Yes.
who is now at Pierre van Kleist. But there are some other names that are important in the photo book scene here and that have been around and have contributed to this. To this course and to the history of the course. Do you want to talk a little bit about this?
Yes, so first of all, we had a theory course, only theory. Bruno Santos was teaching a course called the Photobook, and it was a history. It was a course that was looking to the history of the photo book from the beginning to the present, following several guidelines, several themes, and that was the start. And the second year of activity of Atelier, he started. And 2 years later, José Pedro Cortes contacted me, and he proposed to make a workshop to make a book. So it was a 7 sessions workshop, and Marta was at that course. You can see over there a piece that it wasn't made in that course, but started there because there's all situations in here. We have books that were made like this one that was finished by the time the workshop was done. It was finished, and some of them took like 2, 3, 5, 7 years from the beginning to the end. To make a photo book, it's a kind of digestive process. You cannot accelerate it. It takes time. It's something that you need to think a lot, to think about the project you're doing, to think about the book you want to do. So it might take time from the beginning, from the start, till the end. That's also the reason why the course is more or less long. So at the beginning it was a workshop with José Pedro Cortes. And a certain moment in 2011, Atelier de Lisboa organized the post-graduation with a university, and we had, before that, our courses, project and others were from a single teacher. One teacher had one course and was giving all the content of that course or discipline. So, and in this particular post-graduation, we had 24 teachers, and there was a selection of the best teacher for a specific content. And so we started to make courses that were with different and several teachers that were dealing with different areas in the
contemporary production,
yes,
photography.
Yes, and José Pedro Cortes had a workshop in that course that was continuing in this idea of making a book. There was some reasons that are not that it's not necessary to speak about now, but that post-graduation ended. But the idea of having a multi-teacher course remained. And so in 2013 We started for the first course, the project and book construction or book creation course in 2013. And now the one that will start next week, so it's the 11th edition of the course. It will be the first one in English. Before it was always in Portuguese. And so the course has been evolving, and it's still evolving because it's something that we are most interested in. Uh, there has never been two scholar years that are equal. There are not courses that are repeated. Everything is dynamic and learning with what's best and what's not so good. So we are very keen on evolving here. And I'm, as a director and coordinator, I'm very keen in selecting the best teachers for the best content.
Some of these, sorry, Bruno. Some of
Just
these.
let me say one thing. I fired as a coordinator. I fired myself as a teacher one day. I fired myself. Okay, so I'm really keen on this of making sure that the teachers are really working. So that that says how serious I take this issue of selecting. So I fired myself. I didn't put myself in a different position that I put all teachers. I'm very, very demanding. And the result now is that we have a brilliant team of teachers doing this course, really. So and Miguel is it's very much into this course, so we can speak a little bit about the course if you like.
I want to go back a little bit because I'm very interested in the beginning of this not just at Atelier. Pedro dos Reis is hiding back there as well, and he's ahead of the Lisbon Photobook Fair, and this started with Suspeitos. The first edition was also 2008, 10. So the association was in 2008. No, the beginning of the idea. 10. I'm trying to put it more more towards the past, but because also I'm not sure when Pierre van Kleist started, but also the Philippa Valadares, who has been connected to the course as well. She opened STET a little while ago, but this happened all a bit at the same time. I think Pedro and Tiago, they collaborate in the course here. They're at Pedro de Guimarães and Tiago Casanova. I think they're the latest to arrive at this photobooks scene. Before this,
Filipe Rosa is the latest.
Filipe Rosa is the latest. No,
Yes,
not about the
recent.
teachers, but about the beginning of this scene of the photobook around here, because we have mostly Pierre van Kleist. I hope we have Miguel van Af, but he was at Porto with ink. And I don't know, Pedro, maybe you want to help us to draw this first pool of.
In 2009, that one class was created due to the financial support of One Spirit Santo to produce the reedition of Lisboa Cidade, Tristan and Ileg. They were the only publishers back then. Filipa
She's
was
11 or 12, isn't it?
yeah,
She was at Fabrica at this time. Yeah.
She was representing Photobook from Barcelona
Yeah.
in the first fair.
And what about Ghost? Do you know when?
2011, but they participated in the first fair. But because Patricia was part of Piece of Cake, they were from Belgium, I think, and she published some books with them.
And what about XYZ?
2013.
13. So there's a huge scene around Photobook in Lisbon. It's really dynamic.
I think after the first fair in 2010, a lot of new projects started to come up. You also have Photobook Corner. They started in 2011. There was another ink at Porto in
No, Miguel van Af. Yeah.
They were different. They had like a broader selection of
This is, thank you, Pedro. This is interesting because I'm talking about this and focusing on this again because most of these participants, let's say, are in one way or another connected to what has been happening here at Atelier, and they have, well, they've been in and out of the course, but they're always there's this scene that wherein everything is happening, and it's, I mean, it started with José Pedro Cortes. I'm forgetting Sandra Vieira Jurgens.
Yes,
She was
yeah.
also connected here. She started doing this part of the course that actually I'm doing now, kind of related to the text and the conceptualization of the works. So just to say that this has evolved within a community and a community of interest in the photo book. Yes, Pedro.
You also had Fábio Cunha and Mariana.
Yes,
Yeah.
they were
We'll be
also
getting there.
doing a workshop here. Yes,
This is because this is the interesting part.
two
Yes,
workshops they made too.
they did so. This was before getting to the current structure of the photo book right now, because it's and maybe afterwards we can start showing some of the books and how things are made and the process and evolution of the works in here. So nowadays the course it has evolved a bit from the post-graduation. So we have this structure in which there are several teachers, not just one teacher. So this accompaniment is varied. And there are also within this, there are several, can we say, fields of concern here. Do you want to talk a little
Yes,
bit
yes.
about
I just want to say that António Júlio Duarte was the main teacher of the course for some years, and then he said he wanted to work with exhibitions instead of books, and I made the first course. And then António Júlio made 3 courses, and Paulo Catrica 1, and then I started to make to be the main teacher on the course. But sorry, you were asking?
the course is kind of divided into
Yes,
3 different
yes.
aspects, can we say, or
Yes,
fields of interest?
it has to do with the nature of a book, because when you're doing a book, photography book, it means that you have photography. You're dealing with photography, and if you're dealing with photography, you might want to make a project. I mean, you can pick photographs from somewhere, but you might want to make a project. So the course is divided in 3 parts. In the first part, we are very much focused on the project, the making of the project. So we are testing. So the students that come to the course may have no idea whatsoever what they want to do. They might have an idea that has not been very much developed. They can have a developed idea already. They can have something, an idea or a concept they want to develop. They might have already started a project. They might already finish the project. They might even be working with an archive, not doing any photography. So the spectrum is absolute, from not having any clue whatsoever to the work is finished. It's an archive, so it's a matter of edition. So it's really challenging, because in each course, each student has its own approach. So we are very keen on having everyone interacting with everyone. That's one of the richest things here, and in schools in general. But you can see that we have a table here and another table over there, and we only have 2 classrooms, and they are not so big. So the maximum number of students we have in a course is 12. That's the maximum. That's the maximum size for a group. If you have more than that, you cannot have a group. You have several groups. And one thing that is very important for us is that all the interactions you can find in the course. So You are invited to show your work and to speak about your work, and you are invited to reflect and have an opinion about others' work. So you're evolving as well. When you have to say something about your colleague's work, and then so there's and the interaction with the teacher, and the interaction with the teacher with the interaction. So it's a net of interactions. That is the thing that is making the process growing so fast and so intensely. It's because there's so many interactions, and the main issue is that to have one table, everyone is seated around the table, everyone is invited to make part of it. That's our way of doing. It's not something of finding the wheel. I mean, that's the thing that should happen in every school. It's not something that was like, wow, incredible. No, that should be the normal process in every school, a maximum of 12 students per class, and everyone should be invited to participate.
I have a short question. So it's very flexible wherever we're starting from. So if I'm starting from an idea from scratch, like I have an idea, will I be also developing the pictures with you? Like if I need to be careful about a certain technique or something to develop my pictures or improve them, will this be also part of the course practice?
Yes. Because everyone that gets inside this place is addicted to photography and crazy about photography. So you will find, if you look, you will find in any corner someone that knows a lot about photography and will help you along with the teacher, of course, and colleagues and so on.
And the photo book, as I saw here, most of them are pictures, but is it also flexible to be with text? Like I want to be having pictures on every page, but also a certain description or to say some things about this picture.
Yes, of course.
It's flexible.
Yes,
like,
yes.
Some books have text as well. We had Yana in the last version of the course, in which we have quite a lot of text. But I think I won't say most. Well, yes, most people are not that worried about the text, but there is this preoccupation about creating some sort of sense, and the text sometimes comes into play. Also about the technical aspects. I think most of the time, most of the projects, whenever we start a project, regardless of if you have a lot of experience or not so much, you need to create a set of technical concerns. So the approach is always technical at the beginning. Of course, those who have more experience will have more to work with to imagine a project in the beginning. But these first stages, we always have to divide some space, some visual space, and that is also technical. So that always comes into play, even if you're very experienced. You have to think about the way in which you're going to play with the photographs in a way. So maybe Bruno, maybe we can open the door and maybe we can look at Gabriela Peterson a little bit. No, it's interesting. We selected a few books here because
it's going to be very difficult. This is a real problem. This is really a problem.
With Gabriela, we have several versions, and it's interesting to see now, and also to expand on your question, which is very interesting, because, I mean, we have the final version of the book, and this is, I'm going from the end to the beginning, then we have more than one dummy, ideas of the cover, but I want another dummy, but I want to come to this point in the beginning where we have a set of photographs. So let's say you start from, this is already quite chosen from, but you start from a bunch of photographs and you start adapting them. And so, for example, this you have, this is a set of pictures I wasn't part of the course at this time, but let's say we created a set of repetitions. So this is about daily observation of the same phenomenon. But most of the things you have to adapt. Maybe in the end you have to adapt, not maybe, definitely, and then you have to adapt technically with the production of the book. But in the beginning you have to adapt to there's this certain space. So in here this is kind of dark. For example, the first image was here, and these are technical aspects of making a photograph. These are choices you have to make, and within these choices there are technical elements, basically. So in here then you can look at this a little bit, you can pay closer attention, but we come from this point where there are several images, and so another example of a cover. So with time, you get to turn these images. First of all, you get an idea of what you want to work on. Then you get an idea of the images. And after this, only after this, you start looking at the book as a physical object and do to the editorial aspects, if we can say, of bookmaking in itself. Because this Bruno was talking about this. There are, let's say, we can say there are technical or editorial elements, the cover, the book in itself, the dummy, but there are also conceptual or project aspects in which we delve into the ideas that operate, and then I think there are theoretical aspects as well. So Susanna is back there, and she's also a part of the of the teachers of this course. And all of these things will make up for the final object. The technical aspect is within this. It's technical when you make the book, but it's technical from the beginning when you make the photographs. We're close to Easter, but not yet. This is a box of almonds, but unfortunately we're not giving away, not even to you, Luis. We're not giving away almonds today. But I love these little pieces. Bruno, sorry, I'm talking too much, but you know, these are these. I still remember the first time, Bruno, when you were talking about these little things. So also you have the final version, and you have these tiny little photos that you do. We call it cromos. I don't know the name in English, stickers or something. They're very small. We can see it, and the reason for this is that, well, you can see the size and you can see the box is full of these. So this speaks to what Bruno was saying, that it takes time also because of this. You photograph a lot because you need to build this environment in which the book is going to be made. So this is very interesting. That you can create images and images and images, and then you start making them into the final size. You make them into a project. You write text about it. You do everything made. Also, that's why the course is so long. It's not so long, but it's lengthy, and why there are so many teachers involved and.
Yes, there's a lot of teachers because it's a multi-layer. It's a process that is going to be built. You have to start to think about the project. Then you have to test it. You have to try and start. And one of the concerns when you're for me as a teacher, guiding project is to make sure that there's the minimum distance between your intentions and the results, because we cannot avoid to be the photographs we make are ours. They belong to our life, our experience, and it's very difficult for us to get a distance and we see in our photograph things that others don't see. And that's one of the first things in project or in the guiding project, is that to shorten the gap between what you think about you're doing, what you think you're doing, and what you're actually doing, as seen from others. So the project is somehow a kind of mirror, that you have a mirror to see your work reflected and to check and to see if your intentions are becoming something understandable for others. So that's the first part of the project, to test your ideas, to test your concepts, to test your intentions, and to see if there's the minimum distance between what you really want to do and what you what you're really doing. So once that first step overcome, then you expand your project. And so at the beginning of the course, it's a an expanding process. I mean, you have one idea and you have several. You can move in several directions, and you could try to move in several directions, and then you see that this is not working and this is working, so you go there. And then again, you might try to open again. And so at the beginning, in the first third of the course, it's a widening process. And by opposition, for the last third of the course, that is a narrowing process that you are throwing away. It's not working. This is not working. These photographs are not saying what I want to do, what I want to say. So at the beginning, it's like an opening. And so we have the project, and we also have the history of the photo book that Susanna is going to teach, that is giving a context of the best practices, the best photo books ever made on Earth. On Earth, because we don't know that in other planets. I guess that if there are life form intelligent species in other planets, they have discovered. Sorry? No, but if there are intelligent species in other planets, in the other side of the galaxy, they are doing photography for sure.
We predict
They are
there
doing
will be at this
photography.
course on the 15th edition.
Yeah, they are doing. Where is intelligent forms of life, they will be doing photography. And if they are doing photography, they are doing photo books. Okay, so Susanna will stick to the books made on Earth, not in other parts of the galaxy. Anyway, I think that the photo book is somehow unavoidable. For someone who likes photography, it's inescapable. I mean, Miguel, this is.
I don't like photography.
This is a long discussion.
And I don't like photo books.
No, you don't like. No, you don't like.
It's interesting. Sorry, Bruno. To say Bruno was talking about this experimentation this experimentation with the photos themselves, but afterwards you can see that. So, for example, we have several versions of covers or essays on what the covers should be. So you have one here, you have another here, you have a few variations here. So still another one in here, and then you have the final book, so which is here. So you go through lots of versions or lots of experimentations as well. Also, Bruno was showing Katarina's book. So this is the dummy that was made in-house, but there are 3 versions. That's the first one.
This one is the first version.
So we have
yes
3 versions that could be final versions, but they are not the final version. So the final version, the one which was published here at Atelier, is this one. And so even when we think, okay, now this is we're done with this, the book is done, it's final, and you can still go back to it and find new elements that can be.
You want me to throw the books? Yes? Okay.
Yeah.
So
I think you can look at them afterwards.
Always gently. So I'll start. So this is the first published book on offset. By now, I was asking people to bring the books here to have them in display, and I thought we had around 50, and we have more than 60. So each time I'm thinking, oh, I forgot this one and this one. So I try to have the most of the books here. So I'll try to give them with some kind of order. So this is, Miguel showed the first of all, this one. It was only 2 copies. And this one was the first one that was made in offset. So 300 copies, and it was the first published with offset book of Atelier. So there were several experiments before, and then this is the final one, the one that is. Now this is not the final one. This is almost the final one. The final one has a dark. So this is almost final because there's one thing and another and another. You can. So this is precious. This is there are so 2 or 3 like this with this blue cover. The final one that is on sale and almost they are almost esgotado.
Sold out. Yeah.
Sold out, almost sold out. It was 300 copies. So.
Which one was the first one?
No, I
The one
think
you have is the first.
yes, because she has her nephews, and her brother told, no, I don't want my sons to be, so we have to remove the nephews from the book. So that the one with the nephews is the first one, and then this is the second, and then that one was just to checking out some final details.
Another interesting example is Humberto Brito, because all 3 of these books have been published, isn't it? The first one was the result of the. That was entirely. This one is in-house, isn't it?
Yes, this was made here, and it was so it's possible to make digital printing. So this was, I think, 50 copies. It was 50 copies of this, and then he made a second book that he was not very pleased to it, and then he remade the book in a very much more interesting. So this is the first one, and then this was a second book, but not in. He was not very pleased with it. And he made this one that is published by Le Bob.
Also, this one is Le Bob.
Yes, but
yeah.
this was like not. He was not very happy.
So it's the same portfolio, and all 3 books were in a way were published differently in different forms and shapes. Also, maybe Nuno Andrade is an example of the.
So this book wasn't done here. The second one was done by one of our students. And it was one student that was like really infected by the idea of making a photography book. We like to create that kind of disease. So we have many books here that many, not so many, but some of them I wanted to show, because this is not a course to make a book. This is a course to teach how to make a book by making one. Okay, it's not the final purpose. It's not just to make a book and it's over and it's done. The idea is to make the first book and to teach how to make books by doing one, because you don't know how to make a book before you do one.
But this is the purpose of the course, to get to a result which is like a final result ready to publish publicly.
Yes.
This is possible to reach with this course.
I mean, you can, if you have means, financial means,
Yes,
you can.
but the product at the end will be already possible to be put on the market or to.
Yes. Yes. This I can show another example. This Nuno Andrade. He made so he was in the first course also with Catarina, and he made this is the first dummy. This is the first dummy from the project, and this is the final dummy he made at the course.
Yeah.
And he showed at the Photobook fair, and XYZ publishing house saw this at the Photobook fair, and they made a book that now has been published by them. So this was the final result here, and then he got a publishing house that was interested, and they published effectively.
And Ginjal won an international prize, the HSBC, so the French bank that has this big international contest. So he did this book as well. This was the project was done here as well.
Yes, the
This,
project here, the
this
book
one
was in
one
Paris.
with Antonio Julio. The book is Edition Xavier Barral, but it's also the project that has been seen and printed.
And is it possible to also make it as an ebook, like for example something you find in Amazon, like this kind of style of digital ebooks?
That's too easy.
That's another way.
It's too
once
easy.
to decide, okay.
It's too easy. The material part has so many challenges.
Yeah.
An
And it's
ebook,
more
it's more or less like a PDF. I mean,
Yeah.
the PDF is something that you should have soon in this process. It's on the process. It's not.
It's one of the versions in a way. When you work on it on the computer until you feel it's done, because then you wouldn't be experimenting with the process, the physical process of viewing, sensing the different materials and all this. So this is all part of the photo book culture. Something is haptic here, so you need to feel it and touch and the movement of seeing the book. This doesn't happen. On a computer screen. Yeah. You can use it, and some contests will accept that you send a PDF before printing. So if you win, you will be awarded the opportunity to print the book.
Yeah. How is it with publishing? You have contacts with publishing companies? Or
Pedro and Tiago Casanova at XYZ, they are part of the structure of the course. So it's
Everyone knows each other. Yes, everyone knows each other.
yeah, true.
In Lisbon, everyone works with everyone and know everyone.
like, I mean, even if it's in English, it's not a problem. Like the language or the content of the book is.
No, it's not a problem.
No.
I want to say one thing that is about this, about these small photographs. This might be strange to work with something like this. This is really strange. But when you're sitting at a table, if you have A4 photographs and I'm looking to them, my visual field will get to see 2 or 3 photographs. If they are 10 by 15, I will see some more. I will have to go over there to have a full view of the entire project. And one thing that is really important when we're doing a photo book is to have the idea of the whole of the project, because the book is somehow connected to film. It has a very strong narrative process, and so when you see an exhibition in the wall, you can get closer, you can get away, you can look in that direction or in that. You can see the whole exhibition in one glance. Okay, thank you. And so for us, it's of critical importance that you have the full book in the table. So these small photographs allows us to move pieces and to align them and to make connections, and even with being seated at the table, to have a broad, a wide, a very large amount of work, and to realize the connections and the relations between things. Because the relations in a book are very, very important. I would say so in a book we have something that we call spread. That is the connection between 2 photographs. The book. This is the main brick, the full page. This is the brick. To build a book, this is spread is the brick. What you do here, you have two photographs relating to each other, or you have only one small in here, or you have two, or you have a big one, full bleed. So what you do in the spread is defining what your book is. So in this book, the relation between different photographs is very, very much important. It's critical. It's really critical. And I can show you also the spread that I was. So for instance, this one. So you are establishing a relation. There's a very strong relationship between these two photographs. So they are very well, they are very well together. So what's happening in the spread is it's defining the book. If I have the way I put my photographs in the book, one or two or more, and the way they relate to each other. And also, of course, you can take this longer. In a book, ideally, all photographs should be related. They should all have a relation. You can have a sequence that flows from one photograph to the other, always keeping you connected to the book. That's the most, for me, because I'm an editor of books as well, alongside with other things. So for me, the sequencing, the creation of the sequence and the relation between these two and what you see next when you move the page. No. When you move the page, you see, you start to move the page. This is very important as well, what is happening when you're moving the page, because when you're looking here, you see the two photographs, but then you start, when you move the page, you're losing this one and you're replacing to another one, okay? So this movement is very important. And now you have this and this connected. This photograph is connected with this one, and then you have a new object. So all these aspects have to be studied. The way two images connect, the way two image, the image are in sequence. I can show you the sequence in the Catarina book. Devagar, where is it? Is there? Yeah, the final one. Can you make me, please? I'm very keen on the sequence. The book has many layers, and the sequence is very, it's for me essential. So Catarina has a very strong, yin and yang. Those are the idea of flowing of energies is something very important to her. So the two first photographs, I mean, you can look, it's a set of beautiful photographs, so you can take pleasure by just looking to them. But then you can look a little deeper. So these two photographs explain something that is important to this idea of yin and yang, things going from one to another. So this is, these two photographs are somehow opposite. So you have water surrounded by land, and you have land surrounded by water. The sky is full of, there are clouds, so this is the opposite, okay? So it's the first, a primeira afirmação.
The first statement.
The first statement. We are moving from one way to the other. And then we have water flowing here from the mountain, from the rock, that continues here. This is flowing, and you have also here, okay? So this is not innocent, this sequence. And then this form becomes its arm and here. And this, his arm, getting in between these two pillows, transform into this road, okay? It's continuing here. And then this form that is over there is coming closer and becomes a large mountain. And now we make a shift, but this form continues also here. And now we want a break. We don't want to bother anyone, like to have a continuous flow from the first to the end. It would be annoying, so it's a break. Okay, but we want to have the same sense of light and colors, and more or less you have dark, and so you have light and shades, and you go to this. You go to this with light and shade to a very different photograph. And then you continue with the tree, and you have this, again, the idea of something dripping. And these lines, the geometrical things, also the geometrical aspects of the way Catarina photographs is she's very keen on photographing geometrical forms. So the geometry is also here. So we move from cylinder to more square form, but always with this that is coming from the beginning, the water flowing, the end on the air, here, this and this again flowing. So the idea of flowing, shifting from one thing to the other, from one solid form to the other, from geometry to the other, is very much something that was important for us. Now we have a cube. And this is a heart. This makes a heart here. It was deliberate. It was not found. It was deliberate. And so we have this profile that transforms into this one. Anyway, so if you want to look it again, you can. There's always connections and things going from one thing to the other. For me, it's very important. That's my way of working with sequences. Oh, someone wants? Okay. Now I have nothing more to say. It's over. I have said everything. I have said everything. I have nothing else to say.
So we can start.
I don't know if anyone has questions to make.
Yes, please have questions.
Also, because we can open the conversation and extend it to the other books in the room. So.
Para gravar não... Isto está a gravar o som ambiente, capta tudo, mesmo alguém que fale baixinho, ok, ótimo. E mesmo as conversas do outro lado da galáxia, certamente.
São os futuros alunos.
So, there's one thing that also is important, is that the idea of the object. So we have the photographs, the layout, the making of the book, putting the photographs inside the spread, but the object also is something very important. So I like very much this book. It's a book. This is a book. It's a box with. This is a book. So Sergio was decided to make an artist residence to nowhere. I mean, he went to a place there was anything of interest, to be in that situation of being somewhere where there's nothing interesting to do, nothing interesting to photograph, to challenging himself. And then he, so it was a self-imposed or self-built artist residence in nowhere, in a non-interesting place, because he wanted to start by that. And then he wanted to create, to establish, to make a kind of research about the possibilities of connecting photographs one to another. So he made these are analog photographs that were rephotographed, and so he created this piece. And then starting from this piece, he was checking out things that could work together. It was so he has 4 different smaller books that are researching from a starting point what kind of edition or what kind of relations he could establish. So, and it has a lot of text. What's your name, please?
Karen.
Karen? Okay. So he has a lot of text, and the texts are somehow related to the scientists that went abroad to search for new botanic forms. He's interested in botanic forms, no animals, it's rocks and botanics and constructions. And so he has texts created by him, others were yes, and it has to do with the scientific approach. So from a set of photographs, he was like, okay, this is, and so this work is the result of his research about what could he do by starting with this. So this is a wonderful piece. So you can have a look, and Sergio is one of the things he's interested in is that to do a photography book, he has to do something that could not be made in any other way. Okay, it's not. I'm doing a photography book because I like to make a photography book. He's looking for things that could not work outside the photography book. So if you want to have a small look too. I can show you again another. Queres interromper-me? Do you want to interrupt me?
Sure. I think afterwards we can open and look at
The discussion. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And make it less formal.
Yes, okay. So, who wants to ask something? Who wants to ask something?
I have another question. After these years, there is some forms or some formality that prevails along the years about the way of making books here in Atelier. If you choose a typology of book, could you say this is the main typology, or there is a lot of typologies? What do you say about that? What do you think?
Okay. Now, it's not possible to establish something. At least for me, it's impossible. I can say that for me, I have my own preferences, my own taste, but I try not to, I give my opinion, but I try that it's wide, it's not narrowing. So the result is that there's a wide, a very, very, you cannot say that, that there's a kind of, the books made here, they have some specific characteristics. For me, one very important thing, the conceptual dimension, it has to do with my education at Maumaus. That is a conceptual school that was amazing school, and I loved it. And since then, the conceptual issues are very important. And for instance, one of the things that are important in when you're working with concepts is the idea of a grid, of a multiple. So I might push sometimes some students to this format. Sometimes I might suggest this is one thing. The other one is that a very, very strong connection in the sequence. So if a book has, if I'm very much in the book, if I'm, if my intervention is very strong, the sequence in terms of the forms, the colors, the content are very important for me. The idea of sequencing is very important. The colors, the things that are happening are really very much important for me. So I might say that I would influence in the direction of sometimes to solve problems through grids, and also for me it's very important the coherence of the sequence. But also, besides that, it's very democratic, and I mean you have to. No one is telling you what you should do. It's up to you. You are pushed to, you are advised, or you have someone or several people giving your opinion, but in the end, it's you, it's your book. So the decisions has to be yours.
I think also at some point in time, I think it was due to MacBooks maybe, but there has been this idea, yeah, the cloth cover with the photograph at the center.
Yes.
You see it repeated sometimes because it was a pattern that emerged at some point. Well, I mean, everybody loves MacBooks, and that design is impressive. But most of the times, I think Bruno has said it as well. Apart from the conceptual issues, and this is a school, I think, to have this kind of consistency throughout time. I think that would be maybe Pierre von Kleist would have it more than we do, because we get different students with different ideas and different tastes and contexts and all this, and so in the end, if we're not imposing finalized models on students. So Bruno was showing Sergio, but the cover of this book is kind of conceptual, and if you look at all the books on the table, they're different in a way. So because we cater to the ideas developed within the book. So we're not imposing a form that we could say all along the years, oh, we've always made it like this. But each project is its own, it has a beginning and a development and a final version that comes out of this very process. So you find, and if you look around, most books, when they're not MacBooks or something, most books are well, they're like no other book. They're like, they're equal to themselves in a way. You can look at Marta's book, for example, as an example of something that is differentiated and made onto itself in a way. You have this, you have Elio's book as well, and Mota da Costa, we haven't shown this Another difference. This was also something that came out of the book with the image on the whole cover, but at the same time it repeats something inside here. I know. So this is another thing. You can open it up, and it comes into it's built as a leporello, so you can have another version, and it's made so the o miolo is detached from the cover. Miolo is an English term, we all know it. But so it's different from other books as well.
Não, continua.
You see it differently in each book, I think. So it's.
O livro que está aí ao lado. Estás a ver? Esse aí, exatamente. Desculpa, sorry.
But I think we can invite people to look at the collection.
I want just to see. I want to end my presentation with this.
Yeah.
But just to say one more thing about the structure of the course that is interesting. So, if we think about the course in three parts, in the beginning, it's a normal course. You have a teacher or more than one teacher. You have a group of students. That's the beginning. Around the middle, you have a group of students that are already doing things with a teacher that is not it's not a teacher anymore, it's a peer. So it's a group of people working together, helping each other and evolving. I can tell you that I was in all my classes. When I was teacher, I was there also. I was in my own classes. I was not elsewhere. So I've been delighted to be in my classes, not because of me, but because of the students. So in the middle of the course, it's a group of work somehow. I mean, I wouldn't say that I could leave the students and go away, but sometimes I'm watching the discussions in between them, and it's great because that's the proof that they are really growing. And in the end, the last third, it's more than like a production center. It's no longer a photography school, it's the visual arts center, and it's taking care of making the book, getting to life and to a form. So, and that happens in all our courses. At the beginning, it's more normal, a teacher and the students, and in the end, it's a group of people preparing an exhibition or a set of books, and it's more an idea of visual arts center, because Atelier, it's not only a photography school. It starts by being a photography school, but then is evolving, and each course is evolving from a photography school to a visual arts center. In the end, things are made by everyone making each part, and it's amazing. It's really amazing. So I want to finish by showing one of the first books ever made here by Marta Castelo, that is an artist, and this is absolutely precious piece. And it was also by contemporary of this, Marta was also on the first workshop of all, but it took her many years to do this. How many years, Marta?
I did it, I showed it in 2012.
12, so 3 years later. So Marta was, I hope you say everything right, okay?
Correct if it's needed. Okay,
so at a certain point we were doing, a group of students were taking photos and making projects in a bankrupt printer house, a bankrupted printer house. So a group of students were taking photographs there. And Marta has a sculpture, fell in love with the piles of sheets that were in some places.
A palette.
In pallets. So there were piles of sheets of different qualities and different forms, and Marta fell in love with this and wanted to work with this. And this book is made with different papers that are identified, and the photographs. Há uma correspondência entre as fotografias e o papel.
Not exactly.
Não?
Não, não.
Ok. So,
Às vezes há, às vezes não. Não é rigoroso.
okay. So each page is different from a different kind of paper. And so these are photographs of this pile that when the bankruptcy of that printing house go completely, Marta rescued these piles, and you still have them.
I have them.
Sooner or later, we will make an exhibition with that installation. It's impossible now?
I don't know. I'm using it. So
Okay. Okay. So this book has the photographs of the piles of paper printed in different papers. So each paper has different forms and different textures, and allows ink to go differently on its surface. So and this is what we call an artist book, because it has. This is more like a photography book, we would say a photo book, and this is more like an artist book, because it has the three-dimensionality, the sculptoric part of it, the way the processes and so on. So this is completely mixed into the idea of sculpture, and the fact that it was only 10 copies.
10 copies.
Okay, and they are all.
Because one of the paper was finished, so
You only had 10 sheets of a certain paper.
Yes, I did a lot of proofs. So because to explain everything, the pictures are on the edge of the paper, and the paper is not cut. It's paper. Of course, the bigger papers are cut, but the smallest ones are one by one. So I have to invent a way to create a A3 to print in a A3 printer, but it was I had to do a lot of tests in order to make it making work. So.
And these are all in collections, important collections, aren't they? Most of them. Do you still have?
I still have 3.
Okay. And you made 10, and you didn't want to make any more?
No, I couldn't, because there's one page that is finished.
Okay, and that's.
And it's
okay, so.
made the thing.
Okay, the number of papers decided the number of copies.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I met Marta many years ago. She was my student at António Arroio so many years ago. So it's a privilege to have you here, Marta. Thank you so much for being our student from the beginning and making such an incredible piece. You can see it, but handle it with real care, okay? This is a very precious piece, okay? And it's, okay, so I'll stop here. I'll stop here.
Yes, maybe we can
this
wrap it
is
up
a beautiful piece. Handle it, see it, and handle it with care. Okay? Isto pode sair ou.
Pode sair, but it's just to.
I was going to ask if it was part of the.
No, it was not for being stole.
Yes.
It was
it was
attached to
exhibition.
something.
Yes. That's why. And it remained there in order to know exactly what is the.
The one that was at the
exhibition
exhibition.
proof.
So Marta beat you. She is my oldest student here.
We have to talk.
From quando é que foi?
Eu não sei, eu acho que.
Quando é que tiveste? Foi no 11º, lá António Rui.
Não, António Rui foi no 10º.
Em que ano?
No 11º, exatamente. De 1997.
7. Okay, 97. So 28 years ago. So I'm a teacher at least 28 years ago. So Marta, I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, this is a good point to maybe to invite you to watch the rest of
Yes,
the books
if you
over
want
there.
to ask something or to have a beer or a whiskey, yes.
You were saying that the third part is more the like the visual arts.
Deu
center.
trabalho, pá.
How does it mean? Like everyone is getting his laptop and doing.
Yes,
the laptop
you
on the-
yes, you have to.
Working the same.
Yes, you have to have your computer, you're doing your things, guided of course, but you are going into production. I mean, you have to ask for budgets in printing houses, you have to test papers,
Yeah.
so you're in the real world. It's not, we're not in a
But the
bubble in
design
a school.
software, we get it from you, like we get access to a certain design program.
Yes, we have, yes. No, it's not included.
You have to buy it.
But we have alternatives to,
Okay, you have
we suggest alternatives to softwares that are also good.
that are free or.
Yes, yes, yes. Huh? Free.
Sales office, yeah.
For 7 days.
Ah!
7 days.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. If any questions, or we have beer or whiskey. So I will offer beer. No one wants to ask any more questions? No? It's over. Okay.
Yeah, we can talk about. We can talk while we're watching.
Yes, we are not going anywhere yet. So
Are the topics of the like more directing something artistic with a story, or